The Eric's flame burned briefly, and its doors closed for the last time in 1982. But by then, plans were afoot to bring the most famous club name of them all back to Matthew Street. The Cavern would rise again.
Immediately opposite this doorway now, you have the entrance to the new Cavern Club, which was rebuilt and reopened in 1984. So we're about 22 foot underground, about 8 foot deeper than it was in its heyday. This is the Cavern Club today, and it's been rebuilt exactly as the original looked. We even have the original bricks on the ceiling and the archways. People walk in the door today. They expect to hear the music that was familiar to them of that period in the 60s, and that's what we do.
The Cavern is lower than it was. It's different, it's right angles to the old place. And I remember the Cavern, but it's a very good facsimile, it really is. And it smells better too.
Still a venue that a lot of successful artists want to play now.
The new Cavern also boasts a second stage where contemporary acts play. Today, 50 years after the Beatles played their first gig in the most famous club in the world, the Cavern lives on. But with the passing of the years, many of the leading lights of the Cavern's heyday are no longer with us, and the memories this iconic venue evokes are bittersweet.
I look at you all, see the lover that's sleeping, while my guitar gently weeps.
So many people gone now, and the main ones, 2 Beatles, 2 wives, all the parents, you know. That's life, isn't it? Time moves on.
Gently weeps.
Seems hard to believe that, you know, I'm still alive and that 2 of the Beatles are dead. If they didn't become famous, they'd probably be alive, I suppose. They used to chain smoke on stage, you know, and I think that's what's happened to George. I don't have to explain about John. If he wasn't in New York, then he might still be alive.
Besides George, you know, and John, of course, there's a lot of other bands that were resident here that are not with us anymore.
A lot of great friends who have gone that we first saw here.
Recent years have seen the passing of key figures in the story of the Cavern's golden era.
We must surely be learning. Still my guitar.
But the music first heard at the Cavern lives on.
We've still got Paul.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And to mark the millennium, Paul McCartney made an emotional return to where it all began.
She was just 17. You know what I mean. And the way she
He stood there like schoolboys again, you know, he was just terrific. And that's where he belonged, the Cavern.
How could I dance with another more than I saw her stand there?
Even though it wasn't the original stage, it was still a great gig. And it was rock and roll.
I can see that before too long, fall in love with her. I see.
The Cavern is so famous around the world now. You go to any country in the world, and what do they want to talk about? The Cavern, the Beatles, where it all started.
While the reborn Cavern goes from strength to strength, its greatest days are preserved in the memories of those who were there. Memories of the Beatles stepping onto its tiny stage, of the Mersey sound conquering the pop world.
Oh, I'll be there.
And of DJ Bob Wooler spinning the schmaltzy ballad that always marked the end of another amazing Cavern night.
To answer your unspoken prayer.
A Bobby Darin disc called I'll Be There.
When the little things you're doing
That was always the last record he played, and you knew there was no hope after that. You had to go.
Don't you worry, darling, I'll be there.
The most famous club, I think, in the world is the Cavern. And I can't really see any other club taking it over now because conditions have all changed, and for a small club, I think this is the place, and it always will be the place.
And wish you luck on your new affair.
I love the fact it's been recreated, and it's fantastic that it's there for all those generations who weren't in the delightfully fortunate position that I and a few others was in of being in the original Cavern.
And don't you worry, darling, I'll be there.
We've come so far now. We're 50 years on from when the Cavern opened. I wonder when it will eventually fade away. Will it ever fade away? Certainly not in my lifetime.
That there is someone who cares. So if you...
What a memory. I mean, kids today say, wish I'd lived through that time, you know. And to think, well, you know, I did.
Don't you worry, darling, I'll be there.
Refusing to believe it was an accident, Ruth is determined to find out the truth about Alice's death. Our chilling drama continues. Marchlands is tomorrow at 9. Next, international football highlights. Denmark versus England.